to get my COVID vaccine today. I had an appointment for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but as you guys know, that got put on pause because of blood clot issues. So I rebooked another appointment for the Moderna vaccine, and I'm going to get my dose here in about an hour or so. And I just did a little shopping at basically a Goodwill. I got some cool stuff that I was just walking there. It's been an interesting day. This little shop, just kind of like a Goodwill. I don't know, there was some tags that said Goodwill in there, so I don't know if it's just like a different name or what, but I'm walking to CVS, gonna get my first Moderna vaccine. That will be helpful for a lot of things and some surprises you guys will see coming up soon. Hey guys, I'm in the parking lot of the H-E-B having a little picnic in the grass. I got chicken salad with crackers, and I got carrot cake, and I got some of my favorite junk food snacks to bring back to Mexico, as well as some conditioner and some treats for the dogs. So I'm feeling pretty good about today. Did a little more shopping than I planned on, but still didn't spend very much money. So yeah, pretty good. I'm gonna go to Best Buy and pick up the TV for my landlord here shortly, and maybe see about getting some wireless speakers for myself. I'll see how they're looking. His electronics are typically more expensive in Mexico than they are here in the US. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what it was like taking the bus from Monterrey, Mexico to Laredo, Texas, crossing the US border included, and then vice versa, coming back down to Monterrey in the same day. In case maybe you were thinking about taking the bus or you're just curious how it works. I bought my tickets on Greyhound in advance. I think there are other buses that are crossing the border, but I couldn't find those itineraries online. So I didn't have any trouble with Greyhound. I think the main thing that I was concerned about was how was it gonna go at the border? Like, what was that gonna be like? So when we were crossing from Mexico into the US, we arrived at the border at 6:30 a.m. The bus, they warned us before we got to the border, so we stopped at Nuevo Laredo Greyhound station, and they said, look, the bus that got there at 11 o'clock last night is still waiting its turn to cross the border. So once we start going, you can't get off. So if you want to make good time, we recommend you get off now and you walk or take a taxi across. They said, but if you stay on, then you're staying on until we get to the Laredo terminal. I wasn't in a hurry, so I said, yeah, it's fine. At least I could rest, you know? So that was nice to rest in the bus. So we drove, after Nuevo Laredo, we drove to the border, which is super, super close, a couple of minutes. And we just sat there waiting our turn for a couple of hours. I had a good nap, so that was nice. A couple of hours, and then we started moving across. We exited Mexico, and if I recall correctly, I think exiting Mexico, nothing happened, no one checked anything, everything was fine. And then in the space between leaving Mexico and entering the US, we're on the bridge, the Columbia Bridge. There was I believe he was from the US, and someone that came on from immigration to check for identification. So we just hold up our passport and he walked around, he checked everyone's, okay, fine. We wait some more time there, just in no man's land, and then a vendor comes on the bus selling burritos and beverages. And I bought 2 burritos, and I was glad I did, because it was a couple of hours before we actually made it across that next mile or so until we got to Laredo, Texas. And so we're just sitting there waiting, and then eventually we get up to the border. So first I believe there was another immigration check where they come and check for your documentation, and then if you're on some kind of visa to enter the US, you have to show that as well. And then some people were entering the US for the first time and needed to get a land entry permit because they were on a work visa, so they had to go in and get that. And then everyone else got off, and we take all of our luggage out, all of our carry-on luggage and any checked luggage out of the bus. I didn't have any checked luggage, and we go through customs to enter the US. So they stamp your passport at immigration. Well, they don't stamp it, but they check your passport at immigration. And then you put your luggage through an x-ray machine, and then after that you wait outside the terminal for the bus to come around and pick you back up. So I probably waited for 30 minutes or so, but it also takes a little bit of time for the people who are needing a land entry permit for their first time entering to the US.
I think those land entry permits, they're good for 6 months. They cost $6, and that's only for people who are not U.S. residents. So I just waited there for a while, and then the bus came, we got back on the bus, and then we drove out of there and drove to the Laredo terminal, which was very close by. We arrived at the Laredo terminal at 11:30 in the morning. So it took 5 hours for us to enter the U.S., basically. Yeah. Now, I believe, I could be mistaken, but I believe the border doesn't open until 8 a.m. Like, I think it closes like around midnight or so until 8 a.m. I could be wrong. But I think we were waiting from 6:30 to 8 just for the border to open. And then the buses, like, I understand it takes longer because they have to get the drug dogs out and they're checking the whole bus and all the luggage compartments, and all the people have to go through both immigration and customs, any land entry permits that you need to get, and then the bus has to drive around. So it takes a little while. And the process going back into Mexico was way quicker. And I'm not sure if that is due to country regulations, if that is due to we had a particularly efficient driver. I was very glad though, because it was a long day. So the bus left at 4:30 from the Laredo, Texas terminal, and it just takes a couple of minutes to get to the border. And the driver briefed us in a very detailed way exactly what to expect and exactly what was going to happen. So after we exited the U.S., he pulled us over again in no man's land before we entered Mexico and explained to us, look, this is what's going to happen, this is what you need to do. So that was really great. We pulled over at immigration, an immigration official came on, and you have to hold up your passport and then any visa or whatever if you're not a resident of Mexico. So I had my tourist visa, but I actually lost the original. I'm pretty sure I threw it away on accident when I was cleaning receipts out of my wallet. I can't find it anywhere. Luckily, I had taken a very clear photo of it. So I printed out some copies. Monty, hey, that's enough, relax. I had a printed copy, but it wasn't the original piece of paper. And they don't stamp your passport or anything. So he told me that was not sufficient. And I said, okay, can I get a new visa then? And he said, sure. So me and this Brazilian guy who I happened to sit down next to in the bus station, we were chatting. Interesting guy. We were the only two. He actually is a resident in Mexico, but I don't know if I think he's still going through the paperwork process. Like, he had told me he had to go to the embassy in the U.S. for Brazil. And this is the first time I've had to go back in like the back office of immigration. But it went completely fine. Everything was fine. He just asked me a couple of quick questions. He gave me the visa. I had to pay for it. It's a little bit less. It's like $27 or something like that. For whatever reason, I don't know why. For whatever reason, neither my debit nor my credit card worked. So I had to use the company credit card for the travel company I worked for, which is kind of embarrassing because they don't take cash at the border. But anyway, luckily it all worked out, so that was totally fine. I got my visa. He was nice. Nothing was weird. Nothing was intimidating or scary. And yeah, got back on the bus, and then we got our luggage off and we went through customs. This time I had a carry-on because I was bringing back a TV for my landlord and friend Vicky. So I carried, take that to the customs, and everything was completely fine. It was super quick. The driver was so efficient. He was like helping everyone load their luggage in the conveyor belt and taking off. I mean, he was really, really good. So that was a great experience. And yeah, then he pulled the bus around. We got back on the bus, and we were supposed to get home at 7:50 p.m. We actually got home at like 8:05, which is completely fine. Yeah, so from Nuevo Laredo to Monterrey was about 2 hours, 45 minutes. So it's pretty good with traffic and everything. And then my friends, Vicky and Luis, picked me up because I brought their TV for them. So that was nice. And then we went for tacos. So it was a really long day, really, really long. But I'm now glad to understand how does the process work in terms of luggage, in terms of immigration, what if you need to take care of some paperwork. That was great to know. So I think it'll be a lot smoother when I take the bus back to the U.S. for the day again in 1 month to get my second COVID vaccine. So I was glad to get in for Moderna, which so happens to be the same vaccine that both my parents had got. And they told me that the only reaction they had was a sore arm. And sure enough, that was also the only reaction I had. So that was good to kind of just, you know, calm my nerves a little bit. I mean, I would have done it anyway, but it was good to have an idea what to expect. I was really, really exhausted afterwards. But honestly, that was probably more due to the fact that I only slept 2 hours before taking the bus all day, walking for hours under the sun, and, you know, just dealing with immigration, and those kind of things can be very stressful just on their own. 2 days after my vaccine, no sore arm. I feel completely fine. That was the first dosage, so we'll see how it goes after the second dosage. But it was convenient. I mean, it wasn't necessarily convenient to take the bus to the U.S., get a vaccine, come back on the same day, but it could have been certainly way more complicated or even not possible. So it was, yeah, overall it was a good experience. It was long, it was a long day, but I'm glad to have had the opportunity to get the vaccine and to relatively easily get to the U.S. And I was able to take care of a few other things while I was there, such as pick up some of my favorite snacks, which I'll show you guys. I also happened to, well, I just picked up Twizzlers and some cheesy chips that I really like, but I'll show you what they are. I also happened to pass by a thrift store that I took some footage of, so I'll share that with you guys. But I was really excited to get this really cool mermaid blanket, some bikini tops, some brand new socks, stuffed animals for the dogs, which they're actually playing with right now. Are you playing with your new baby? What's that? Is that your new baby? Poor Monty. So yeah, overall it was a pretty good trip. Like I said, yeah, I got like a few items at the grocery store, some dog treats, conditioner. Not like I can't get those things here, but they are a little bit cheaper in the U.S. for certain items. So it was nice to be able to bring them back and not have to pay tax on them, because I didn't, you know, the financial value of stuff that I was bringing back was less than $300, so you don't have to pay tax on that. So that was really good. But yeah, overall it was a good trip. I'll just show you the snacks that I got, and I already recorded a video of like the stuff I bought. So that was my trip to the US, guys. What an adventure, you know, going back to my own country. I think the weirdest thing for me was getting used to people speaking English all the time again, because I've been down in Mexico without leaving since December. So it's been about 4 months now. And once in a while I meet someone that speaks English or wants to practice English, but most of the time, no. And still in Laredo, like, there are tons of people speaking Spanish. Even, you know, even when I was in the thrift store, I didn't speak any English or hear any English, and all the signs were in Spanish. But, yeah, it's interesting. So anyways, let me show you guys what I brought. I hope everybody's having a great day. We're getting ready to head off on another adventure. Honestly, whenever I'm back in Monterrey, I don't really record a lot of content because I just kind of get into my routine, taking care of the animals, working, chores, errands, maybe once in a while hanging out with friends. I'm going to be hitting the road soon. I'll have about a month more of van life camping before summer, if all goes well. I've got some cool adventures coming up soon that I'll share with you guys that are not van life related. Yeah, so we're gonna head up to some sand dunes hopefully tomorrow, if all goes well. I got a lot of stuff I need to get done today before we hit the road, but we should be good to roll out. Well guys, these are the snacks that I bought in the US. Twizzlers and this Munchies mix that I really like. I'm not a huge fan of Mexican chips or Mexican candy. There are a few that are okay, but these have been really tasty. This is the mermaid blanket. It looks like it's in great condition. They had a couple of them. And it's got its fins at the bottom, and then on the other side is like this. These are the stuffed animals I got for the babies. Hey friends, thanks so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.